I'm Jerry Malloy. Welcome to my Play Right Awake channel for total beginners. In this video we're going to be looking at the differences between the Fender Stratocaster and the Gibson Les Paul. This is all to help you try to make a decision if you're thinking about buying an electric guitar, which one to get, or if you're learning to play one, the different things that you can expect from each guitar. Now, I think Fender started making Stratocasters in 54 or 55 or 56, I'm not quite sure, but in that age it was a totally revolutionary shape. I mean, in 1955 it must have been really strange to do something as pointed as this and as well designed as this, because no one's really come up with a better shaped body. If you think of an electric guitar or ask anybody to draw a picture of one, the chances are they'll draw this shape, which is a classic shape. The body, as you can see here, is contoured, so it makes it nice and comfortable to play. The neck comes in different styles. This is a maple neck, although they do have rosewood necks, which are made of dark wood. A nice scratch plate here, the volume and the two-tone controls and the bridge. This featured a tremolo arm here for the first sort of time. I'll talk about the tremolo a little bit later. But steel strings again, and as I said before in the previous videos, the strings here would be very light. I was talking about open string tunings, and one thing, I think Robert Cray uses this, and Stevie Ray Vaughan definitely did, they would tune flat, so each string would be tuned a semitone lower than normal. In other words, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat and E flat. And in return they could then put thicker strings on, because if it's tuned fret lower, obviously the strings are a little bit slacker, making the strings easier to bend, but by putting thicker strings on you get a better tone and they would still be fairly playable. The action on this guitar, the distance the strings are away from the neck, is very, very close, making it very easy to play. Now the pickup that I've got here is pointing upwards. Now it's very simple to understand. In this position it means that the pickup nearest the neck is working. That pickup is on. So as I said before on the other things, if I use that pickup or play over it, you get a nice bassy sound. This is the tone control for that pickup, so if I turn the tone off, they're sounding very bassy. Jazz players in particular like that very bassy sort of sound. So if I bring the tone on, take that up to the top there, that's fine. If I move this pickup into the centre, I've just gone past a notch there. The centre obviously is this middle pickup here, which is getting a little bit brighter. Which is a nice sound. This is the tone control for that middle pickup, so I'll turn that off and you can hear. Just has a little more bite. If I bring the tone back on, here we go. You can hear that that's the way that sounds. If I bring this control past a notch to the very back, we get a very trebly, twangy. Quite a big variation in tone there, which is very good. It's great to have such a different variation in tone. Now the other thing, when the Stratocasters first came out, they only had a three-way toggle switch here, which was down there for the bridge pickup, to the middle for the middle pickup, and there for the neck pickup. And guitarists discovered that you could wedge it in between. You weren't supposed to do it at all. The manufacturers didn't know this, but if you wedge this pickup in between the neck position and the centre, you get a different sound. Quite bell-like, quite a nice... It's an out-of-phase sound, which means that these two pickups are working together, producing an out-of-phase sound, which is a completely different tone. And then if we move it to between the middle and the bridge, the bridge pickup, we get another sound again, which is these two pickups out of phase. Mark Knopfler used to use that a lot with his Stratocaster, and I think indeed he had it taped in between, because it was only the three-way pickup selector, and he taped it, and that was his famous sound there. Eric Clapton used to use the same sound. I think he first heard it from Robbie Robertson from the band, but that's the Stratocaster with the out-of-phase sound between these two pickups there. Incidentally, there's no tone control for this back pickup here. It's just twangy, and that's more or less the signature sound for the Fender Stratocaster. Now on that third string, you can hear it's a little bit of a rattle, and I was told that that really is Fender build that into the guitars as a signature sound, so... So this is certainly very playable, very easy to play and very controllable. You can also use this volume control here to swell or violin the sound, so you can swell things in by playing it with the tone off, with the volume off, and then bring it in. So this is the Fender Stratocaster. The body is normally made of alder. In some cases, the older cases, it was all made of one piece of wood. Nowadays I've heard that the cheaper guitars can be about 6 pieces of wood stuck together and then encased and sprayed so that it looks like it's one piece, but quite often it's made of quite a few different pieces because the wood is so rare. Now if I just take this one off and plug in the other guitar, the Gibson Les Paul, this is the complete opposite of the Fender Stratocaster, made by a different company, Gibson. These were made around the same time. The design is completely different, This is a very solid, heavy guitar. Slightly arched on the body, you can see it's not completely flat, but the body is made of 3 pieces of wood. 2 pieces of mahogany stuck together here, as you can see. Now mahogany is a very dense wood, as you might be able to see in the grain of it. Very dense and producing a very deep sound. The slab on the top is maple, and the maple glued together with the mahogany produces a brighter sound. Now the pickups on the Fender are 3 single coil, meaning single strips, just 3 single coil pickups in the bridge position, the middle and the back. Now this is completely different. These are mini pickups, but essentially under this cover there would be 2 single coil pickups working together. Now they were patented and called humbuckers, because when 2 single coil pickups work together it stops there being a hum from them, hence the name, humbuckers. But with the pickups being double, they're twice as loud. One on the neck there, immediately you can hear it's quite loud. The other one being here at the bridge. Now this is the bridge pickup one here. Sorry, the neck pickup, that's the neck pickup there. Changing it, that's a combination of both of them. And this is the bridge pickup. The body size, thickness and the combination of that and the humbucking pickups make this completely the opposite end of the spectrum. The Fender Stratocaster is in one direction and the Les Paul is completely the opposite direction. In between come thousands of variations of guitars, but these are the benchmarks in either direction. The Les Paul on one end and the Stratocaster on the other. The Stratocaster sounds a little bit folky, a little bit more trebly. This Les Paul is certainly very, very powerful. And the difference, I could sum it up with 2 tracks. The Fender Stratocaster, as Mark Knopfler used for Sultans of Swing and things like that, and the Les Paul as he used in Money for Nothing. 2 completely different tracks. The Money for Nothing track is very, very powerful. It's a lot more subtle with Sultans of Swing, things like that, a lot more subtle. He of course played fingerstyle for both of them, but players have difficulty switching from a Fender Stratocaster to a Gibson Les Paul because they're so different. But whichever one you decide to pick, either a Les Paul or a Stratocaster, be aware of the different pickup configurations. Sometimes on the Stratocasters they'll have 2 single coils and a humbucker, or a humbucker at each end and a single coil in the middle. Variations, the real Stratocasters will have 3 single coils and the real Les Paul have 2 humbuckers. So I hope that's helped, and the differences between these electric guitars. Thanks very much, and we'll see you again.